Hi, this is Craig Stocks here for PiMagic Studio, and today we're going through some basic examples of using PiMagic output with AstroMagic for Photoshop, and the example we're going to look at now is using monochrome SHO data. So let's hop into Photoshop, and I'm going to open up the PiMagic or AstroMagic. We're on the Import tab, so I'm going to import images. And we're going to use the Wizard Nebula, and this is the PiMagic output. So we have sulfur, hydrogen, oxygen, our stars, which were created from the HOO data, and then the annotation overlay. So click OK, and again, AstroMagic is going to do the work of loading the images, organizing the layers, applying the default colors. And I've chosen here to use the SHO Hubble Palette. The other option in this drop-down would be HOO. So if I was wanting to load just the hydrogen and oxygen to get an HOO image, then I would change this drop-down to be HOO. So here's our layer groups all loaded in with sulfur on the bottom, oxygen, hydrogen, global adjustments, the stars, and then the annotation. So looking at this image, immediately I would say that it's probably too green. So too green typically means not enough red. And red we know is coming from sulfur. And if we look at the sulfur layer group, we see we've got the standard structure with the layer itself on the bottom and automatic levels, a burn and dodge layer in case we need it for some reason, a levels for overall brightness of the sulfur, and then our hue saturation, and it's this hue saturation in colorize mode that's colorizing this layer to be red. So if we look at just this layer by itself, or I'm sorry, this layer group, it's going to be red, and that red is coming from this hue saturation adjustment layer. So let's turn the other layers back on. So here we see our rather green, and we've got the stars turned off right now. We know we need more red, so I'll go to the levels, which is the brightness, and this is within the sulfur layer group, so this is the brightness of the sulfur. And we can see we've got some headroom here at the lights end, so that in itself adds some red. We'll move the midpoint slider, and that brings in quite a bit more. We do start to get a little too much in the dark area, so I'll bring this dark slider into the right to take some of the red out of the dark areas. So that's an improvement right away, and this is just before and after just by moving this slider. Now it's very likely as we make other adjustments we'll want to come back and fine-tune this, and that is really the beauty of working with a tool like Photoshop that's non-destructive. Non-destructive means that I'm not changing these pixels. I haven't applied an adjustment to this sulfur layer. I'm just changing the way it looks in the combined layer stack. So I get to see the image as it looks with everything applied, and I can make adjustments at any point in that layer stack interactively. Very powerful approach. We still have a lot of green, so let's go to the hydrogen, which is where green is coming from, and let's just turn down the brightness. That makes a big difference all by itself. We might go to the oxygen. I'll expand the oxygen layer group. These are color-coded, so oxygen is blue, sulfur is red, hydrogen is green, and we can, if we turn up the brightness of the midpoint of the oxygen, that's pumping a little bit more blue into the midpoints. If we're starting to get too much blue in the dark areas, then we might move the blacks slider in just a little. But that immediately makes a big difference between what it looked like when we first loaded it and how it looks now. If we want to further fine-tune this, I might go to the hue saturation of the hydrogen, and sometimes making it either more blue or more yellow depending on the image, and also depending on what you want, can improve that quite a bit, and usually just a little bit of a change makes a big difference. I find frequently if I move the hydrogen, I will need to move the oxygen hue in the same direction a little bit. So at this point, that's a pretty good looking overall image. Now I might go to my global adjustments and perhaps darken the entire image a little bit. And the levels adjustment is a little bit tricky. There's actually two sets of sliders. 90% of the time you'll use these sliders at the top that change the brightness of the midtones. The two sliders at the bottom change the brightness of either the blacks or the whites. Now, this slider at the blacks end, if I move it to the right, it makes the blacks blacker. And I can move it back to 0, but I can't move it past 0. If I need to make it even lighter, I can come down to the blacks slider here and increase the brightness of the blacks a little bit or darken the whites a little bit. So you can think of these bottom sliders as the ability to take the sliders at the top beyond 0 or beyond the limit at 255. And then the last thing we would typically do is turn our stars back on, and that's a lot of stars, so I would typically reduce the brightness, just tone those down a little bit, maybe turn the annotations back on, and we have a pretty good looking image. So that's kind of a basic approach to an SHO image. If we want to close all of these tabs, we'll go back to our toolbox, go to Tools and Close Groups, and then I'm ready to save this now that it's kind of neat and organized again. I can save this as a Photoshop large document format. I can do exports from this to create smaller JPEGs that I might want to share, or a larger JPEG or TIFF if I want to send it to somebody for printing. If you use Lightroom, these PSB files, the large document format files, load into Lightroom just fine, so you can continue working with them there. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.